What if the words you keep repeating in pain are making your heart heavier, but one simple phrase could change the direction of your heart? Astaghfirullah. Not because every problem will disappear instantly, but because istighfar changes what pain is doing inside you. And once you understand these 7 lessons, you may never look at istighfar the same way again. 1. Istighfar pulls you back to Allah before your pain pulls you down. When your heart feels heavy, pain can slowly pull you away from everything that gives you peace. You may stop praying with focus, stop making dua with hope, and begin spending more time thinking about what hurt you than thinking about Allah. This is exactly why istighfar becomes so powerful in difficult moments. Every time you say Astaghfirullah, you are turning your heart back toward Allah and reminding yourself that you are not alone in what you are carrying. You are saying, Ya Allah, I am weak, I am tired, I have made mistakes, and I need you. That simple return can stop sadness from controlling your heart. Pain tells you to keep thinking about what went wrong, but istighfar teaches you to look toward the one who can guide you through it. You may not see your situation change immediately, but something inside you begins to change. Your heart becomes softer, your thoughts become calmer, and hope slowly returns. So when pain tries to drag you into hopelessness, do not stay there. Keep saying Astaghfirullah, keep returning to Allah, and let your heart remember that your deepest pain is never greater than His mercy. 2. Istighfar cleans the heart from what pain leaves behind. Pain does not always disappear when the moment is over. Sometimes it leaves anger, disappointment, fear, jealousy, regret, or deep sadness sitting quietly inside the heart. You may think you have moved on, but then one memory, one message, or one painful thought brings everything back again. This is where istighfar becomes more than words. When you keep saying Astaghfirullah with sincerity, you are asking Allah to clean what has gathered inside you. You are asking Him to remove the heaviness that people, mistakes, and painful experiences have left behind. Istighfar helps you stop carrying yesterday into every new day. It reminds you that your heart was not created to live permanently filled with resentment and regret. You may still remember what happened, but the memory no longer has to control your peace. With time, sincere istighfar can soften the places in your heart that became hard through pain and help you return to calmness, humility, and hope. Do not only ask Allah to change your situation, ask Him to purify what that situation has created inside you. 3. Istighfar reminds you that Allah's mercy is bigger than your pain. When pain stays for too long, your heart can begin to believe that nothing will ever change. You may wonder why Allah allowed this difficulty, why your dua seems unanswered, or why you have been carrying the same sadness for so long. This is when istighfar becomes a powerful reminder that your pain is never greater than Allah's mercy. Every sincere Astaghfirullah turns your attention away from hopelessness and back toward the one whose mercy has no limit. Your mistakes are not too great for His forgiveness, your wounds are not too deep for His healing, and your situation is not too difficult for His power. Istighfar teaches your heart not to measure Allah's mercy by what you are feeling today. A difficult season does not mean Allah has forgotten you. Sometimes you cannot see what He is protecting you from, what He is preparing for you, or how this struggle is bringing your heart closer to Him. So when your mind tells you there is no hope left, answer it with Astaghfirullah. Keep returning to Allah until your heart remembers that His mercy is bigger than everything you are carrying. 4. Istighfar calms the storm inside your heart. Sometimes the hardest battle is not happening around you, it is happening inside you. Your life may look normal from the outside, but inside your mind there is noise, fear, overthinking, regret, unanswered questions, and emotions you do not know how to explain. You may lie down at night feeling physically tired but still unable to rest because your thoughts will not stop. You replay conversations, imagine the worst, remember what hurt you, and wonder what will happen next. This kind of heaviness can make even a small problem feel enormous. That is why istighfar can become such a powerful habit when your heart is disturbed. Every time you sincerely say Astaghfirullah, you interrupt the endless conversation happening inside your mind and turn your attention back toward Allah. Istighfar does not mean pretending that your pain does not exist. It does not mean ignoring your emotions or acting as if nothing hurts. It means refusing to let those emotions become the only voice your heart listens to. Pain may say everything is falling apart. Fear may say something bad is coming. Regret may say you ruined everything. But istighfar quietly reminds you Allah is still here. That reminder may look simple, but when repeated with sincerity, it can change the atmosphere inside your heart. Instead of feeding your fear with another hour of overthinking, you begin feeding your soul with remembrance. Instead of asking the same painful question again and again, you begin returning to the one who already knows the answer. There are moments when you cannot fix the situation immediately. You cannot force someone to understand you. You cannot bring back what was lost. You cannot control another person's heart, change the past, or guarantee what tomorrow will bring. Trying to control what is outside your hands only creates more pressure. Istighfar teaches you to release that pressure. When you say Astaghfirullah, you are admitting that you are human, limited, and in need of Allah. You stop trying to carry the entire future on your shoulders. You stop acting as if every problem must be solved by your own strength. You begin saying through your heart, Ya Allah, I do not understand everything, but I trust you more than I trust my fear. This is where inner calm begins. Your problem may still be there, but it no longer feels like it owns you. The person who hurt you may not apologize, but you stop allowing their actions to control your entire day. The future may still be unclear, but uncertainty no longer feels like a punishment. Istighfar gives your heart somewhere safe to return when your thoughts become too loud. It becomes a pause between the pain and your reaction. That pause is powerful because many of the decisions we regret are made when the heart is overwhelmed. We speak too quickly, respond in anger, send messages we should not send, chase people who are pulling away, or make choices from panic instead of wisdom. A heart that remembers Allah becomes slower to react and stronger in difficult moments. Do not expect peace to always come like a sudden miracle. Sometimes Allah brings peace slowly. One Astaghfirullah may not remove every thought in your mind, but continue. Say it again with understanding. Say it when you feel anxiety rising. Say it when anger enters your chest. Say it before answering someone who has hurt you. Say it when you are tempted to reopen a wound Allah is helping you close. Say it when you wake up with heaviness that you cannot explain. Over time, your heart begins learning a new response. Instead of running immediately toward panic, it starts running toward Allah. And remember, there is a difference between having a difficult life and having a heart with no peace. You can be surrounded by comfort and still feel empty. And you can be facing a serious test while carrying a surprising calm inside. That inner calm is precious because it allows you to see your situation clearly. When the storm inside you settles, you stop making every problem bigger than it is. You stop seeing rejection as the end of your life. You stop believing that one loss means nothing good remains. You start realizing that Allah can remove one thing and replace it with something better, close one door and guide you toward another, or delay something because your heart is not ready for it yet. So when your emotions become too heavy, do not let overthinking become your only habit. Do not keep feeding the thoughts that are already exhausting you. Turn to istighfar. Sit quietly and say Astaghfirullah with your heart present. Let each repetition remind you that Allah knows what you cannot explain, sees what you cannot control, and understands every part of your struggle. You may not receive every answer immediately, but you can receive something just as important: a calmer heart, a clearer mind, and the strength to keep going without falling apart. The storm may still exist around you, but it does not have to live inside you. Keep returning to Allah through istighfar until your heart learns that peace does not always come from having no problems. Sometimes peace comes from knowing that even in the middle of those problems, Allah is with you, Allah sees you, and you do not have to carry everything alone. 4. Istighfar calms the storm inside your heart. Sometimes the hardest battle is not happening around you, it is happening inside you. Your life may look normal from the outside, but inside your mind there is noise, fear, overthinking, regret, unanswered questions, and emotions you do not know how to explain. You may lie down at night feeling physically tired but still unable to rest because your thoughts will not stop. You replay conversations, imagine the worst, remember what hurt you, and wonder what will happen next. This kind of heaviness can make even a small problem feel enormous. That is why istighfar can become such a powerful habit when your heart is disturbed. Every time you sincerely say Astaghfirullah, you interrupt the endless conversation happening inside your mind and turn your attention back toward Allah. Istighfar does not mean pretending that your pain does not exist. It does not mean ignoring your emotions or acting as if nothing hurts. It means refusing to let those emotions become the only voice your heart listens to. Pain may say, everything is falling apart. Fear may say, something bad is coming. Regret may say, you ruined everything. But istighfar quietly reminds you, Allah is still here. That reminder may look simple, but when repeated with sincerity, it can change the atmosphere inside your heart. Instead of feeding your fear with another hour of overthinking, you begin feeding your soul with remembrance. Instead of asking the same painful question again and again, you begin returning to the one who already knows the answer. There are moments when you cannot fix the situation immediately. You cannot force someone to understand you. You cannot bring back what was lost. You cannot control another person's heart, change the past, or guarantee what tomorrow will bring. Trying to control what is outside your hands only creates more pressure. Istighfar teaches you to release that pressure. When you say Astaghfirullah, you are admitting that you are human, limited, and in need of Allah. You stop trying to carry the entire future on your shoulders. You stop acting as if every problem must be solved by your own strength. You begin saying through your heart, Ya Allah, I do not understand everything, but I trust you more than I trust my fear. This is where inner calm begins. Your problem may still be there, but it no longer feels like it owns you. The person who hurt you may not apologize, but you stop allowing their actions to control your entire day. The future may still be unclear, but uncertainty no longer feels like a punishment. Istighfar gives your heart somewhere safe to return when your thoughts become too loud. It becomes a pause between the pain and your reaction. That pause is powerful because many of the decisions we regret are made when the heart is overwhelmed. We speak too quickly, respond in anger, send messages we should not send, chase people who are pulling away, or make choices from panic instead of wisdom. A heart that remembers Allah becomes slower to react and stronger in difficult moments. Do not expect peace to always come like a sudden miracle. Sometimes Allah brings peace slowly. One Astaghfirullah may not remove every thought in your mind, but continue. Say it again with understanding. Say it when you feel anxiety rising. Say it when anger enters your chest. Say it before answering someone who has hurt you. Say it when you are tempted to reopen a wound Allah is helping you close. Say it when you wake up with heaviness that you cannot explain. Over time, your heart begins learning a new response. Instead of running immediately toward panic, it starts running toward Allah. And remember, there is a difference between having a difficult life and having a heart with no peace. You can be surrounded by comfort and still feel empty, and you can be facing a serious test while carrying a surprising calm inside. That inner calm is precious because it allows you to see your situation clearly. When the storm inside you settles, you stop making every problem bigger than it is. You stop seeing rejection as the end of your life. You stop believing that one loss means nothing good remains. You start realizing that Allah can remove one thing and replace it with something better, close one door and guide you toward another, or delay something because your heart is not ready for it yet. So when your emotions become too heavy, do not let overthinking become your only habit. Do not keep feeding the thoughts that are already exhausting you. Turn to istighfar. Sit quietly and say Astaghfirullah with your heart present. Let each repetition remind you that Allah knows what you cannot explain, sees what you cannot control, and understands every part of your struggle. You may not receive every answer immediately, but you can receive something just as important: a calmer heart, a clearer mind, and the strength to keep going without falling apart. The storm may still exist around you, but it does not have to live inside you. Keep returning to Allah through istighfar until your heart learns that peace does not always come from having no problems. Sometimes peace comes from knowing that even in the middle of those problems, Allah is with you, Allah sees you, and you do not have to carry everything alone. 5. Istighfar protects you from becoming bitter. Pain can change a person if it stays inside the heart for too long. A woman may begin with a soft heart, sincere intentions, and a desire to see good in people, but repeated disappointment can slowly make her suspicious, angry, distant, and emotionally tired. Maybe you trusted someone who betrayed you. Maybe you gave your best to people who barely appreciated you. Maybe you kept forgiving, kept helping, kept staying patient, and still ended up being the one who was hurt. After enough pain, the heart can quietly begin saying, I will never trust anyone again. I will never care this deeply again. I will never allow anyone close to me. This is how bitterness begins. It does not always arrive as anger. Sometimes it arrives as emotional numbness, coldness, constant suspicion, or the belief that everyone will eventually hurt you. This is why istighfar is so important. When you say Astaghfirullah sincerely, you are not only asking Allah to forgive your mistakes, you are also returning your heart to Him before pain changes you into someone you were never meant to become. Istighfar reminds you that what people did to you does not have to decide who you become. Someone else's cruelty does not have to create cruelty inside you. Someone else's betrayal does not have to destroy your ability to trust wisely. Someone else's rejection does not have to convince you that you are worthless. You can learn from what happened without allowing it to poison your character. Bitterness is dangerous because it keeps the person who hurt you living inside your heart long after they have left your life. You may stop speaking to them, block them, move away, or completely separate yourself from them, yet still carry their actions everywhere you go. You remember what they said while eating, while praying, before sleeping, and when meeting new people. Without realizing it, the person is gone, but the wound is still making decisions for you. Istighfar interrupts this pattern. It brings your attention away from what they did and back toward what Allah can do within you. It reminds you that your healing is no longer in their hands. You do not need their apology before you start healing. You do not need them to admit that they were wrong before your heart can become peaceful. You do not need them to understand your pain before Allah can restore you. Sometimes people will never give you the closure you wanted. They may never say sorry. They may never realize what they did. They may even continue living as though nothing happened. If your peace depends on their understanding, you may wait forever. Istighfar teaches your heart to stop waiting at a door that another human being controls and return to the door of Allah, which is always open. Say Astaghfirullah when anger keeps returning. Say it when an old memory makes your chest heavy again. Say it when you are tempted to speak badly about someone only because they hurt you. Say it when you notice yourself becoming harder than you used to be. You are not saying istighfar because the other person was innocent. You are saying it because you refuse to let their wrong actions create darkness inside your own heart. You are protecting yourself. There is a difference between becoming wise and becoming bitter. Wisdom says, I learned from this, so I will create better boundaries. Bitterness says, everyone is the same, so nobody deserves my trust. Wisdom says, I will forgive, but I do not have to return to the same situation. Bitterness says, I will carry this anger wherever I go. Wisdom protects your dignity. Bitterness steals your peace. Istighfar helps you move toward wisdom because it keeps your heart connected to Allah instead of connected to resentment. You are allowed to have boundaries. You are allowed to step away from people who repeatedly harm you. You are allowed to stop giving access to someone who keeps breaking your trust. Islam does not require you to keep placing yourself in the same painful situation just to prove that you have a good heart. But there is a huge difference between protecting your heart and poisoning your heart. Protection says, I wish you no harm, but I cannot allow this anymore. Bitterness says, I want you to suffer because I suffered. Istighfar helps you recognize that difference. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. You may be angry that you ignored the warning signs. You may think, I should have known better. Why did I trust them? Why did I stay so long? Why did I allow this? These thoughts can turn inward and create another kind of bitterness. You start punishing yourself for decisions you made when you did not know what you know now. Istighfar becomes powerful here too. When you say Astaghfirullah, you admit your mistakes without making them your identity. You learn, repent, grow, and move forward. You are not required to spend the rest of your life hating an older version of yourself. Maybe you were too trusting. Maybe you ignored something you should have faced. Maybe you made a decision that caused you pain. Learn from it, but do not keep attacking yourself every day. Allah opens the door of repentance so that you can return, not so that you can remain trapped in shame forever. Istighfar teaches you that mistakes should produce humility and growth, not endless self-hatred. A bitter heart also begins to compare. You may look at other women and think, Why is she happy when I have suffered so much? Why did she receive what I prayed for? Why did her marriage work while mine failed? Why does she seem loved while I feel forgotten? Pain can make another person's blessing feel like evidence that Allah has overlooked you. This is a dangerous place for the heart. Istighfar helps bring you back before comparison turns into envy. When you say Astaghfirullah, remind yourself that Allah's plan for another woman has nothing to do with the value of your own life. Her blessing did not steal yours. Her timing is not your timing. Her story is not your story. You do not know the tests hidden behind what you see, just as she does not know everything you carry. Keep your eyes on the path Allah has written for you. Another danger of bitterness is that it can make you confuse softness with weakness. After being hurt, you may decide that kindness is dangerous. You may believe that the only way to protect yourself is to become cold. But strength does not require a hard heart. Some of the strongest people are gentle because they have learned how to remain kind without allowing others to misuse them. That is the balance you should seek. Istighfar helps you keep that balance. It softens your heart toward Allah while teaching you not to worship people's approval. It reminds you that you can forgive without forgetting the lesson, love without losing yourself, care without becoming dependent, and walk away without carrying hatred. That is emotional strength. Think about how exhausting bitterness is. You have to keep remembering what happened in order to remain angry. You have to keep reopening the wound in order to keep the resentment alive. You have to keep replaying old conversations to justify why you still feel the way you do. Eventually, the person who hurt you may have moved on, while you are still spending emotional energy on a chapter that should already be closing. Istighfar gives you another choice. You can say, Ya Allah, I cannot change what happened, but I do not want it to control my future. Forgive me for my mistakes, clean my heart from resentment, protect me from becoming unjust because someone was unjust to me, and help me walk forward with peace. This is a powerful dua to carry with istighfar, because healing is not only about feeling better. Healing is about becoming better without becoming harder. It is about leaving pain with more wisdom, more awareness, more closeness to Allah, and stronger boundaries, but without losing the goodness Allah placed inside you. And understand this clearly. Letting go of bitterness does not mean saying what happened was acceptable. It does not mean pretending that betrayal was harmless, or that abuse, disrespect, dishonesty, or abandonment did not matter. It simply means you will not let that pain become the center of your identity. You are more than what happened to you. You are not only the woman who was betrayed. You are not only the woman who was rejected. You are not only the woman who cried alone. You are not only the woman who was misunderstood. You are a servant of Allah who is still growing, still learning, still being guided, and still capable of a beautiful future. So when you feel bitterness entering your heart, catch it early. Do not feed it with endless memories, imaginary arguments, and thoughts of revenge. Turn back to Allah. Say Astaghfirullah slowly and sincerely. Ask Allah to remove what should not remain inside you. Ask Him to replace anger with wisdom, resentment with peace, and pain with understanding. The goal is not to become a woman who never gets hurt. That is impossible in this world. The goal is to become a woman who knows where to take her hurt before it turns into something darker. Take it to Allah. Take your anger to Allah. Take your disappointment to Allah. Take your confusion to Allah. Let istighfar become the place where your heart releases what it was never meant to carry forever. One day, you may look back at the same experience that once filled you with anger and realize that it no longer controls you. You remember it, but you do not feel the same fire. You think about the person, but your entire mood does not change. You hear their name, but your peace remains. That is growth. And that is one of the most beautiful forms of healing. Not when you forget what happened, but when what happened can no longer change the person Allah is helping you become. So protect your heart. Do not let pain make you cruel. Do not let betrayal make you suspicious of everyone. Do not let rejection make you hate yourself. Do not let disappointment make you lose hope in people or in Allah. Keep saying Astaghfirullah until your heart becomes lighter than the memories trying to weigh it down. Your pain may have changed your life, but it does not have to destroy your character. With Allah, even the heart that has been deeply wounded can become soft again, strong again, peaceful again, and wiser than before. 6. Istighfar opens doors you cannot open by yourself. There are moments in life when you reach the limit of your own strength. You have tried everything you know. You have thought about the problem from every side, spoken to people, made plans, waited, pushed, and still nothing seems to move. A door stays closed, a situation stays stuck, a person does not change, an answer does not come. This is where many hearts become exhausted, because we are used to believing that if we try harder, think more, or control more, we will eventually fix everything. But some doors in life were never meant to open through your strength alone. Some doors open only when Allah creates a way you could never have created for yourself. This is why istighfar becomes so powerful when you feel trapped. Every sincere astaghfirullah is a reminder that your life is not limited by what your eyes can currently see. Sometimes you think the answer must come through one person, one job, one opportunity, one relationship, or one specific outcome. You attach your peace to that single door and say, if this does not happen, everything is over. But Allah sees 1,000 paths where you can only see one. You may be crying because one door has closed while Allah is protecting you from what was behind it. You may be begging for something to return while Allah is preparing something that would make you grateful it never came back. Istighfar teaches your heart to stop believing that your future depends on one human being or one situation. Your future is with Allah. This does not mean you stop taking action. You still work, ask, apply, learn, improve, communicate, and make wise choices. But you stop worshipping your own efforts. You stop believing that your plan is the only plan that can save you. Istighfar gives you humility. It reminds you, I will do what I can, but Allah is the one who decides what opens, what closes, what stays, and what leaves. That understanding protects your heart from desperation. Desperation makes people do things they later regret. A woman may keep chasing someone who has made it clear they do not value her. She may keep begging for attention, lowering her standards, ignoring disrespect, or trying to force a relationship to survive because she is afraid of losing it. She may think, if this person leaves, I will have nothing. But istighfar pulls you away from that fear. It reminds you that Allah is not limited to the door you are trying to force open. Sometimes the closed door is not rejection, it is protection. Sometimes the delay is not punishment, it is preparation. Sometimes the silence is not abandonment. It is a space where Allah is teaching you to depend on Him instead of depending on people. When you keep making istighfar, your heart slowly begins to understand this. You stop asking only, why is this not happening? And begin asking, Ya Allah, what are you teaching me through this? That question changes the way you experience hardship. Instead of seeing every delay as proof that something is wrong, you begin to see it as part of a process you cannot fully understand yet. There may be doors in your life that you have tried to open for months or years: marriage, children, work, healing, financial ease, family peace, a new beginning, a chance you deeply wanted. When these things are delayed, the heart can become tired. You may look at other people and wonder why their doors opened while yours remained closed. This is where comparison becomes dangerous. It makes you feel forgotten. But your story is not late just because it does not look like someone else's. Allah is not writing your life according to another person's timing. Istighfar helps you return to that truth. Instead of counting what everyone else has, you begin remembering who controls what comes to you. You begin saying Astaghfirullah not as a magic formula to force an outcome, but as a way to keep your heart clean while you wait. That is important. Istighfar is not a bargain where you say, I did this, so now Allah must give me exactly what I want. It is an act of worship and return. You ask Allah for forgiveness, mercy, guidance, and ease, while trusting that His answer may look different from your expectation. Sometimes the greatest door that opens after istighfar is not the external door you were waiting for. Sometimes it is clarity. Suddenly, you see a situation differently. You recognize that someone you were fighting to keep was exhausting your soul. You understand why an opportunity would have taken you in the wrong direction. You realize that the thing you thought you needed was actually something you had become emotionally attached to. Clarity is a door too. Peace is a door. Courage is a door. The strength to walk away is a door. The ability to forgive yourself is a door. A heart that can finally accept Allah's decree is a door. Do not reduce Allah's help to material results. Sometimes He changes your circumstances, and sometimes He changes you so deeply that your circumstances no longer have the same power over you. That is why you should never underestimate what sincere istighfar can do in a difficult season. It keeps your connection with Allah alive while you are waiting. It stops frustration from becoming resentment. It stops delay from becoming hopelessness. It reminds you that there is always more happening than what you can see. Think about how often fear comes from believing that you must control everything. You want to know what will happen next month. You want to know whether someone will stay. You want to know whether the dua will be answered the way you hope. You want to know how the problem will end. But life does not give you all those answers in advance. Istighfar helps you live without needing every answer first. You say Astaghfirullah and your heart begins to release the need to control what belongs to Allah. You begin to understand that your job is not to predict every detail of the future. Your job is to obey Allah, make sincere effort, protect your heart, make dua and keep walking. This becomes especially important when you feel like nothing is happening. Human beings often think that if they cannot see movement, then there is no movement. But many changes begin quietly. A person may be removed from your path before you understand why. A new opportunity may be forming before you ever hear about it. Your heart may be becoming stronger before the next chapter begins. Allah can arrange things you are completely unaware of. That is why hopelessness is such a dangerous conclusion. It looks at one moment and decides the whole future. Istighfar teaches you not to do that. One closed chapter is not your entire story. One rejection is not your final value. One failed plan is not the end of Allah's plan. One season of loneliness does not mean you will always be alone. One unanswered dua today does not mean Allah has ignored you. You simply do not know what Allah is doing beyond what you can see. There will also be times when the door you want does not open because you are the one who still needs to change. Maybe your habits need to change. Maybe your intentions need to become cleaner. Maybe your attachment to people needs to weaken. Maybe your relationship with Allah needs to become stronger. Maybe you need more patience, discipline, wisdom, or emotional maturity. Istighfar helps you face that possibility without becoming defensive. Instead of only asking Allah to change everyone around you, you begin asking Him to change what needs to change inside you. That is a powerful shift. A woman may pray for a better relationship while ignoring the fact that she has no boundaries. She may pray for peace while continuing to return to situations that destroy her peace. She may pray for a new beginning while refusing to release the past. She may pray for respect while constantly accepting disrespect because she is afraid to be alone. Sometimes the door opens when you become the person who is ready to walk through it. Istighfar prepares the heart for that growth. It makes you honest with yourself. It allows you to say, Ya Allah, forgive me for the ways I have harmed myself, ignored your guidance, or placed people above my peace. Show me what I need to change. That kind of honesty can open doors that pride keeps closed. Another powerful thing about istighfar is that it prevents you from turning difficulty into a fight with Allah. When life becomes painful, some people begin speaking from anger. They say, why me? Why is everything difficult? Why does nothing ever work? These feelings can come from deep exhaustion, but if they continue unchecked, they can make the heart feel distant from Allah. Istighfar gives you another response. You bring the pain to Allah instead of using the pain to move away from Him. You say, Ya Allah, I do not understand this, but I do not want this hardship to separate me from you. Forgive me, guide me, and keep my heart close. That sentence alone can change a difficult season, because the worst loss is not always losing the thing you wanted. Sometimes the worst loss is allowing disappointment to destroy your relationship with Allah. So guard that relationship. If a door remains closed, keep your heart open to Allah. If an answer is delayed, keep your tongue alive with istighfar. If a person walks away, do not let your connection with Allah walk away with them. If a plan fails, do not assume your life has failed. Keep returning. There are doors that open only after you stop knocking on the wrong one. There are answers you recognize only after you become quiet enough to hear them. There are blessings you appreciate only after Allah removes something you thought you could not live without. Istighfar helps you reach that quiet place. It creates space inside your heart where trust can grow. And when trust grows, your decisions change. You stop chasing, you stop begging, you stop forcing, you stop proving your worth to people who have already decided not to see it. You begin saying, if Allah has written it for me, it will reach me in the way He chooses. If He removes it, I will trust that He knows what I cannot see. That does not make you passive, it makes you grounded. You still take action, but your heart is no longer screaming behind every action. You still make dua, but your peace does not collapse if the answer is delayed. You still hope, but you do not destroy yourself trying to control the result. This is the freedom that comes from trusting Allah. And this is why istighfar should become part of your response whenever life feels blocked. Do not only use it when you feel guilty, use it when you feel confused. Use it when you are waiting. Use it when a decision feels impossible. Use it when you do not know whether to stay or leave. Use it when you need guidance more than you need an immediate answer. Say Astaghfirullah and let your heart become quiet enough to notice what Allah may be showing you. Maybe the next door will not look like the one you imagined. Maybe the next chapter will not begin with the person you thought would be there. Maybe Allah will rebuild your life in a way that makes your old plan look small. You do not need to know the entire path today. You only need enough faith to take the next right step. So if you are standing in front of a closed door right now, do not assume Allah has abandoned you. Do not lose yourself trying to force what has not opened. Keep making sincere effort. Keep making dua. Keep doing what is right and keep your heart attached to Allah through istighfar. There are things you cannot arrange, Allah can arrange them. There are hearts you cannot change, Allah can change them. There are paths you cannot see, Allah already sees them. There are doors you cannot open, Allah can open them in a moment if they are good for you. And there are doors you keep begging for that Allah may keep closed because His mercy knows what your desire does not. So trust Him enough to stop measuring His love by what opens immediately. Sometimes the greatest mercy is the door that stayed shut. Sometimes the greatest blessing is the person who left. Sometimes the greatest answer is the delay that forced you to grow. And sometimes the greatest opening begins with one quiet sentence from a tired heart. Astaghfirullah. Keep saying it with sincerity. Keep returning to Allah. Keep believing that your life is not trapped just because you cannot see the next step yet. The one who created a path where you see none is still in control. And what Allah opens for you can reach you from a direction you never expected. 7. Istighfar is not for perfect people, it is for people who need Allah. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is believing that you must become spiritually strong before you return to Allah. You may look at your mistakes, your weak moments, your broken promises, your missed opportunities, or the things you regret and think, maybe I am not good enough to come back yet. But that is exactly when you need istighfar the most. Istighfar was never meant only for people who already feel pure, calm, disciplined, and close to Allah. It is for the person who knows she needs Allah. It is for the woman who is tired of carrying guilt, tired of fighting the same weakness, tired of pretending she is fine, and tired of trying to repair everything alone. When you say Astaghfirullah, you are not claiming that you are perfect, you are admitting that you are not. You are saying, Ya Allah, I have weaknesses, I make mistakes, I lose focus, I become emotional, I sometimes choose badly, I sometimes know what is right and still struggle to do it, but I am still turning back to you. That honesty is powerful because Allah does not need you to pretend. He already knows what is inside your heart. He knows the things you regret, the moments you are embarrassed by, the fears you do not tell anyone, and the habits you are still trying to leave behind. Sometimes shame tells you to hide from Allah. Istighfar teaches you to run toward Him. That difference can change your whole spiritual life. A woman may carry a mistake for years because she believes she has gone too far. She remembers what she did and feels the same shame every time. She may have sincerely changed, but inside her heart, she still speaks to herself as though she is permanently ruined. She thinks the worst moment of her life is the final definition of who she is. Do not give your mistake that much power. A mistake is something you did. It does not have to become the person you remain. If you recognize the wrong, regret it sincerely, seek Allah's forgiveness and work to change, then keep moving toward Him. Do not spend your life standing at the entrance of repentance, refusing to walk through because you think you are unworthy of mercy. The entire point of asking forgiveness is that you need forgiveness. You do not wash your hands because they are already clean. You wash them because they need cleaning. In the same way, you do not make istighfar because you have reached perfection. You make it because you know your heart needs constant return. This is especially important when your heart feels heavy, because pain can make you more vulnerable to mistakes. When you are emotionally exhausted, you may react in ways you normally would not. You may speak harshly, become impatient, fall back into an old habit, spend too much time overthinking, seek comfort in the wrong place, or become attached to someone because you are desperate not to feel alone. Then another problem begins. You do something you regret, and now you have pain on one side and guilt on the other. This is where some people begin drowning in self-hatred. But Istighfar gives you another path. Instead of saying, I failed again, so there is no point trying, you say, I failed again, so I will return again. That mindset is much stronger. Your relationship with Allah is not built on never falling. It is built on knowing where to turn when you fall. There may be days when you feel close to Allah and days when your heart feels distracted. There may be nights when your dua feels deep and sincere, and other nights when you struggle to focus for even a few minutes. There may be weeks when you feel disciplined and weeks when everything feels harder. Do not build your entire faith around one emotional state. Keep returning. Istighfar becomes the bridge between the person you are today and the person you are trying to become. Every Astaghfirullah is a small act of humility. You are admitting that you need guidance, you need forgiveness, you need protection from your own ego, you need help controlling your desires, your anger, your words, your attachment, and your reactions. That humility protects you from one of the most dangerous things that can happen to a person, becoming impressed with yourself. Sometimes people begin improving spiritually and quietly start feeling superior. They notice the mistakes of others and forget how much mercy they themselves need. They begin judging people who are struggling in ways they no longer struggle. Istighfar keeps the heart humble. It reminds you that even if you are stronger today than you were yesterday, you still need Allah. Even if you pray regularly, you still need Allah. Even if you avoid certain sins, you still need Allah. Even if people respect you and think you are religious, you still need Allah. The strongest person is not the one who believes she no longer needs forgiveness. The strongest person is the one who understands how dependent she is on Allah every single day. And if you are struggling right now, hear this carefully. Do not wait for the perfect moment to come back. Do not say, I will start making istighfar when I fix my life. Start while your life feels messy. Do not say, I will return when I stop making mistakes. Return while you are still fighting them. Do not say, I will speak to Allah when I feel spiritually ready. Speak to Him while your heart feels confused. You may think you need to become better before Allah will accept your return, but becoming better often begins because you returned. That is why you should never allow shame to become stronger than hope. Healthy regret says, I did something wrong and I need to change. Toxic shame says, I am beyond repair, so there is no point changing. These are not the same. One brings you closer to Allah, the other makes you want to disappear. Istighfar turns regret into movement. It gives your guilt a direction. Instead of endlessly thinking about what you did, you begin asking, what can I do now? How can I correct this? How can I become more careful? How can I avoid returning to the same mistake? This is where real transformation begins. Suppose you trusted the wrong person and crossed boundaries you now regret. You can spend years attacking yourself, or you can make sincere istighfar. Learn why you are vulnerable, strengthen your boundaries and become wiser. Suppose you stayed too long in a situation that was destroying your peace. You can hate yourself for being weak, or you can ask Allah to forgive you for the ways you neglected yourself and then build the courage to never repeat it. Suppose anger made you say something terrible. You can pretend it never happened, or you can make istighfar, apologize where necessary, and learn to control your tongue. Istighfar should lead you forward. It is not meant to become another excuse to remain unchanged. This is important because some people misunderstand forgiveness. They think saying Astaghfirullah means they can continue doing whatever they want without taking responsibility. But sincere istighfar should make you more honest, not less. If you truly ask Allah to forgive you for a harmful habit, you should also take steps to leave that habit. If you ask forgiveness for hurting someone, you should repair what can reasonably be repaired. If you ask forgiveness for wasting your time, you should begin treating your time differently. If you ask forgiveness for putting people above Allah, you should begin correcting that attachment. Istighfar is powerful because it is a return, and real return means your direction begins to change. You may not change perfectly overnight, but your direction matters. Maybe today you fall 7 times instead of 10. Maybe you catch yourself earlier. Maybe you recognize the trigger before making the same decision. Maybe you stop sending the message you know you should not send. Maybe you walk away from the conversation before anger takes over. Maybe you finally stop checking the profile of someone you are trying to forget. These small moments are victories. Do not ignore them because they are not dramatic. A changed life is often built from hundreds of small moments where you choose differently. Istighfar keeps reminding you why you are choosing differently. You want Allah more than you want the old habit. You want peace more than you want revenge. You want dignity more than you want attention. You want a clean heart more than you want to win every argument. You want a stronger relationship with Allah more than you want to keep repeating a pattern that is destroying you. This is why a woman who keeps returning to Allah can become incredibly strong, not because she never feels weak, but because weakness no longer becomes her final destination. She knows how to come back. She may cry, but she comes back. She may get confused, but she comes back. She may make a mistake, but she comes back. She may feel disappointed in herself, but she comes back. That habit of return can save you from years of spiritual distance. And sometimes the thing keeping you away is not even a major sin. Sometimes it is simply discouragement. You start believing, I have made istighfar so many times. Why am I still struggling? Because you are human. Growth is not always a straight line. A person can sincerely want Allah and still struggle with old habits. A person can love worship and still have moments of laziness. A person can know better and still need time to become better. Do not use your struggle as proof that you should quit. Use it as proof that you need Allah more deeply. This is where consistency becomes more important than emotion. There will be times when saying Astaghfirullah feels deeply meaningful. There will be other times when your heart feels dry and distracted. Do not only worship Allah when the emotion feels powerful. Continue. Keep your tongue connected to remembrance even while you work on bringing your heart back. Sometimes the heart follows the action. You begin with the words and slowly the meaning starts entering deeper. Say it thoughtfully. Astaghfirullah. Ya Allah, forgive me for what I know and what I do not notice. Astaghfirullah. Forgive me for the moments I let fear become stronger than trust. Astaghfirullah. Forgive me for chasing what was pulling me away from you. Astaghfirullah. Forgive me for the words I should not have said. Astaghfirullah. Forgive me for the days I treated your blessings like they were ordinary. Astaghfirullah. Forgive me for hurting myself by remaining where I knew I was losing my peace. When istighfar becomes this personal, it stops feeling like an empty repetition and starts becoming a conversation of the heart. You begin discovering things inside yourself that you had ignored. Maybe your biggest struggle is not what someone did to you. Maybe it is how deeply you depend on people's approval. Maybe your biggest problem is not being alone. Maybe it is believing that being chosen by another person is what gives you value. Maybe your biggest wound is not the rejection itself. Maybe it is the belief that rejection means you are unlovable. Istighfar creates room for these deeper truths to appear because it brings humility into your heart. And humility allows you to change. A proud heart always blames everyone else. A humble heart asks, what can I learn here too? That does not mean blaming yourself for what others did. It means refusing to leave a painful situation without gaining wisdom from it. Maybe someone betrayed you, their betrayal belongs to them. But your lesson may be learning not to ignore obvious warning signs again. Maybe someone manipulated your kindness, their manipulation belongs to them. But your lesson may be learning that generosity still needs boundaries. Maybe someone left you, their decision belongs to them. But your lesson may be discovering that you built too much of your identity around their presence. This is how istighfar can turn pain into growth. You stop asking only for the world around you to change and start asking Allah to strengthen what is inside you. And there is another powerful lesson here. Never compare your spiritual journey with another woman's. You may see someone who appears calm, disciplined, knowledgeable, and deeply connected to Allah and think, why can't I be like her? You do not know her entire story. You do not know what she fought through to become who she is, and you do not know what she still struggles with privately. Comparison can make you overlook your own progress. Maybe 6 months ago you could not walk away from disrespect, and today you can. Maybe 1 year ago you barely made dua, and now you turn to Allah whenever you feel overwhelmed. Maybe before, one painful message could destroy your whole week, but today you recover faster. That is growth. Do not insult your progress because it looks small compared with someone else's life. Keep making istighfar. Keep growing quietly. Let Allah work on your heart. The goal is not to become impressive in front of people. The goal is to become sincere before Allah. This is also why you should be careful about performing spirituality for others. You do not need everyone to know how much you pray, how much istighfar you make, how much Quran you read, or how deeply you are trying to change. Some of your most beautiful moments with Allah can remain private. Let your healing be quiet. Let your repentance be sincere. Let your growth speak through your character. You do not have to announce every spiritual change. When a woman begins returning to Allah sincerely, people may notice something different without knowing what happened. She reacts less, she chases less, she explains herself less. She becomes slower to anger. She becomes more careful about what she allows into her heart. She can walk away from things she once thought she could never leave. That is what inner change looks like, and it often starts in moments no one sees. A quiet room, a tired heart, a whisper, Astaghfirullah. Do not underestimate those private moments. Some of the most important rebuilding in your life will happen where no one is watching. There is also freedom in knowing that Allah already knows the truth about you. People may misunderstand you. People may remember your old mistakes after you have changed. People may continue defining you by a version of yourself that no longer exists. You cannot control that. Your job is not to spend your entire life convincing everyone that you have changed. Change. Let Allah know your sincerity. If an apology is needed, give it. If something must be repaired, repair it. But after that, do not become a prisoner of people's opinions. You are allowed to grow beyond who you used to be. Istighfar gives you that direction. You return, correct, and continue. And when your heart becomes heavy again, return again. Do not think, I should not be struggling with this anymore. Maybe you should be stronger now. Yes, learn, improve, take responsibility. But do not turn frustration into hopelessness. Allah knows the difference between someone who loves a wrong path and someone who is sincerely fighting to leave it. Keep fighting, keep returning. If you fall today, do not make tomorrow another day of falling just because you are ashamed. Make tomorrow a day of return. That is one of the traps of shaitan. After a mistake, he tries to convince you that since you already failed, you may as well continue. Break that pattern immediately. One bad decision does not require 10 more. One weak night does not need to become a weak month. One mistake does not need to become your lifestyle again. Stop, say Astaghfirullah, correct yourself, begin again. There is strength in beginning again without drama. You do not need a new year. You do not need Monday. You do not need the perfect spiritual mood. You need one sincere decision. I am coming back. That decision can happen right now. And if your heart is heavy because you believe Allah is disappointed in you, remember why you are making istighfar in the first place. You are returning to the one you hope will forgive you, guide you, and keep you close. Do not let your imagination turn Allah into someone you are too afraid to approach. Approach Him with humility, hope, and sincerity. Ask forgiveness, ask guidance, ask for strength to leave what keeps pulling you down. Ask Allah to make you dislike the things that damage your heart. Ask Him to make obedience easier and harmful attachments weaker. Ask Him to protect you from returning to what He already helped you escape. These are powerful things to ask. And then take action. Remove the trigger, set the boundary, change the routine, delete the contact if you know the connection is harming you. Leave the environment that keeps pushing you toward the same mistake. Stop putting yourself in situations where your weakest side controls you. Spiritual strength and practical wisdom should work together. You make istighfar and you also change the pattern. That is how rebuilding becomes real. The woman you are becoming does not need to hate the woman you used to be. She needs to learn from her. Maybe the old version of you tolerated too much because she was afraid to be alone. Thank Allah for what you learned and do better now. Maybe she trusted people too quickly. Become wiser now. Maybe she kept giving away her peace to people who had not earned that access. Protect it now. Maybe she forgot Allah during moments of emotional attachment. Return now. Do not spend your future punishing your past. Use your past as education. Istighfar helps you do that because it gives regret somewhere meaningful to go. Without return to Allah, regret can become a prison. With sincere repentance, regret can become a teacher. This may be the greatest lesson of all. Your weakness can become the place where you discover your need for Allah most deeply. Sometimes people only understand how dependent they are on Allah when their own strength stops working. You try to control yourself and fail. You try to control people and fail. You try to control the outcome and fail. Eventually you realize, I need Allah. That realization is not defeat, it is awakening. There is peace in admitting that you were never supposed to carry your entire life by yourself. You need guidance, you need mercy, you need forgiveness, you need protection, you need Allah. And that need is not something to be ashamed of. It is part of being human. So if you are watching this with a heavy heart, do not say, I will return when I become better. Return now. Return while you are tired. Return while you still have questions. Return while you are still healing. Return after the mistake. Return after the disappointment. Return even if this is the 100th time you have had to begin again. Say Astaghfirullah and mean it. Not because you are perfect, because you are not. Not because you have everything under control, because you know you do not. Not because you never fall, because you have finally learned where to turn when you do. Let istighfar become the rope you hold when your emotions become heavy. Let it become the habit that brings you back when life distracts you. Let it become the reminder that your mistakes are not permission to abandon yourself, and your pain is not permission to abandon Allah. You may still have a long way to go. That is okay. Walk it with Allah. There may still be parts of you that need healing, discipline, maturity and correction. Work on them with Allah. There may still be mistakes you regret every time you remember them. Turn those memories into istighfar instead of self-destruction. And whenever you begin thinking, maybe I have gone too far, let your next words be Astaghfirullah. Whenever you think, maybe I will never change, say Astaghfirullah. Whenever you feel too ashamed to make dua, say Astaghfirullah. Keep returning until returning becomes stronger than running away. That is the woman you want to become, not the woman who never struggles. The woman who never allows struggle to permanently separate her from Allah. Not the woman who never makes mistakes. The woman who refuses to let mistakes become her home. Not the woman who is perfect. The woman who knows exactly where to go when she is not. So if your heart feels heavy, never leave istighfar. When you are strong, say Astaghfirullah. When you are weak, say Astaghfirullah. When you understand what Allah is doing, say it. When you do not understand anything, say it. When your life feels beautiful, say it. When your heart feels shattered, say it. Keep returning, because istighfar is not the language of perfect people. It is the language of people who know how deeply they need Allah. If your heart feels heavy, do not wait until everything makes sense before returning to Allah. Return now. Return while you are tired. Return while you are still healing. Return with the words Astaghfirullah on your tongue and hope inside your heart. Your pain is not stronger than Allah's mercy. Your mistakes are not greater than His forgiveness. Your closed doors are not greater than His power. So keep making istighfar until your heart becomes lighter, your thoughts become calmer, and your trust in Allah becomes stronger than the pain trying to pull you down. And when life becomes heavy again, remember this: do not run from Allah when you need Him most. Say Astaghfirullah and return.